this?
You missed the fight! Give me these crusts, I'm starving.
Hey, Ma, I didn't expect to see you here.
Whose beer is that?
Yours?
I thought you were out with Pinchon.
All he wanted me for was my car. He thought I was going to drive him to New York, wait around like a lapdog, and then drive him back again.
What did he say when he came out?
I don't know. Should be getting out right now.
You left Professor Pinchon in New York City?
That's my mom.
That's your mom! And Times Square ought to be pretty interesting around now.
Oh my God, what if he gets lost? What if he gets mugged? What if he meets one of those nymphos from NYU? I'm coming, Professor, I'm coming!
There's nymphos at NYU? Oh, hey, wait up! Wait!
Today, I'd like to talk about the controversial Mexican bandit chieftain Pancho Villa, who was abandoned by his compatriots and left in the desert to die. Oddly enough, I found myself in a similar situation, stranded in the wilds of Times Square. I had the dubious pleasure of watching 4 grown men fighting over a pair of underpants. Unfortunately, I was wearing them at the time. And then I had the extraordinary experience of taking an interstate bus, where people sneeze at will, drink liquor from paper sacks, and pretty much do whatever strikes their fancy on the floor of a moving vehicle. Mrs. Coraldo, perhaps you could tell me how to get urine out of Italian suede loafers.
You know, getting back to what you were lecturing about, maybe there's a reason Pancho Villa was left in the desert. Maybe his compatriot went out and bought herself a new Serape, rode many miles, and never made it off the donkey. Maybe Pancho Villa deserved to die.
Mrs. Coraldo, are you saying it was Pancho Villa's fault?
That's what I'm saying, amigo.
All right, people, take 5 minutes. And the first one to bring me a cup of tea will not be called upon for the rest of the class.
I'm sorry I failed, Professor.
What? You've never failed at anything in your life.
That is so sweet.
All right, Mrs. Coraldo, why did you leave me in New York?
Why did you ask me to the theater and then leave me in the car?
Asked you to the theater? You thought that I was taking you to the theater?
Of course I did.
Well, then you misunderstood. I asked you to drive me to the theater.
Why would I do that? Driving 4 hours for no apparent reason is insane. You don't believe me? Watch the Indy 500.
Look, if you misconstrued my intent, I cannot be held responsible for some schoolgirl fantasy.
Look, pal, the other night was not my idea of a fantasy. And it's schoolwoman.
Mrs. Coraldo, I just wanted a ride.
And it never occurred to you that I might actually have wanted to see the play, too?
No, but you should. It's awfully good.
You're impossible. It's like you walk into this classroom and your blood turns cold. The other night, I saw a human being in there.
Mrs. Coraldo, you're not Joan of Arc. I'm not France. Please don't try and save me. Look, I'm sorry you misunderstood. I'm sorry you're angry. And I'm very, very sorry I shared a bus with a 400-pound man named Linda. Now, I think we're even Steven.
You want to know what bothers me the most?
Not at all.
I knew I did something wrong when I left you there. But you still don't think you did anything wrong. Not once in that entire bus ride did it ever occur to you that my feelings were hurt.
Mrs. Corraldo.
What?
This is in no way an admission of guilt. I've been sitting here trying to put myself in your place. And after having mentally painted, redecorated, and added a skylight, I've come to the conclusion that you might have a point.
Might?
Mrs. Corraldo, might is big for me. Allow me to make a conciliatory gesture. A month ago, I came into the possession of 2 tickets for the Four Tops concert in Providence tomorrow. Well, what with the continuing rail strike and my recent phobia to buses, I find myself once again unable to travel without assistance. Well, they're not together, but they are unobstructed. Would you like to see the show?
Thank you. I'd love to.